I bought this camper trailer for cheap. A few things that need fixing. I already replaced the axles and spindles and bearings on the wheels. Now I need to be able to cook on it. To do that, this needs to be fixed. What is this, you ask? Cooktop and sink. Specifically the sink. Come over. So some are working, they fire up and they spit gas, but it's piss weak. Some don't work at all. And let me think, one does work, starts, but it doesn't stay on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to pull the cunt apart and trial and error fix it. Starting with this. For this I need two parts. Star key, I think it's a, what size is it? CRV T6, Phillips bit, PH1. $7 Trojan kit, comes with like, I have no idea how many, this many bits from Bunnings. Pretty good. I'm going to connect the gas up. Ciao. All right. I just put my ear to it and I can hear this struggling. And pull this one apart. In order to clean one of these bastards, all I've got is 1.5mm cable, which I just had sitting around. Got a little hair of it, straightened it. And I'm jamming it down a little pinhole where the gas comes out. This little pinhole that I'm talking about. See this little hexagonal shape thing that has 64 written on it, or 64. You get your little copper, straighten it out with just on your fingernail. I like to do a little bit of a bend, make it easier to work with. Goes in the hole. This has been parked outside in front of the beach for I think 8 weeks, the bloke said. There's been a lot of corrosion. So I'll do this one first, see how we go. Gotta do one at a time because they're fucking finicky. But that's okay. 2 Phillips screws can go back in. The most 2 important things to know is, 1, the gas has to be clear in the center. That's what I was doing with the copper, just clearing it out. The second is this little bastard here. You have to make sure this is high enough so that when the flame is on, it heats up this little nipple thing here. What this does is it's like a safety thing with gas. If this isn't in the flame, it won't, and like say you're pushing in, keeping it on, this has to be in the flame because it keeps the gas on. So you know, you push it and then let go and the gas stays on. If the flame isn't heating this up, it's like a little thermal switch. It's like a safety thing so the gas isn't just running like right now, how it's on, but there's no gas coming out at all. Only when I push down does the gas go on. It only stays on when the flame ignites. And this heats up, holds it open. I'll pop this back on and we'll test our first one. Coffee break. Okay, check the gas is on all the way. We need a lighter. Here's a lighter. Okay, it's on. And it's pretty sturdy. When you do it, leave it on for a little while. If you can see, this might be a bit low. We'll see if it's in the flame. It looks like it's just barely touching, but I'll leave it on for a sec. Let's see if it stays on, and it does. So this little nipple is just touching the blue flame. As it heats up, that's what makes it stay on. All right. This one, I've just put back together just to show for an example of what I don't like. So I've turned it on. Not sure if you can see it, but it's hot as heck. But I can tell already just this is too low. So as soon as I let go of the gas, my left thumb, it turns off. We don't want that. We want that to stay on. No point me cooking while I'm holding it down, you know what I mean? So we need to make that not happen. Essentially what we're trying to do is this nipple has to be in line or higher with these bottom ridges, because this is where the gas comes out, these slits. So the gas comes up through the center, fills this cone bit in the center, then it gets forced out through the little arms. And when one of this ridge has a flame that touches this little thermal switch, we'll call it, whatever it is, this is what keeps the gas on while it's hot. When it heats up, it just keeps it pumping. Otherwise, as soon as you lift your hand up off this, it turns off. You have to make sure that this is seated down as pretty much as far as you can, so that this little nipple is sitting up high enough. If it's too low, or like say it's dirty or it's lifted up, this little steel plate here, what happens is the flames don't come in contact with the nipple, and then you essentially have to hold it there, otherwise the gas will not stay on. Like, it just won't happen. So we'll assemble this, try this one out next, see how it goes. It's been assembled, let's check it out. Okay, it's a lot better than what it was before. I can't really tell if that thing is in the fire yet enough. If it's not, I'm going to try bending it in the way, being very careful not to snap it. But I don't need to, because now it's staying on. We're okay. All right, so that makes 2 of them that work. Oh, let's not burn my fire. Oh, problem. This is turned off after a sec. Even though I thought it was good enough. No. Okay, so they're both on. But essentially, that's 2 out of 3 that are looking good. Let's go on to the last one now. Turn these off before I burn myself. Same process. Pull this bugger apart. This is outrageous. Let's try that, eh? Okay, nice and sturdy, we're good. Next, lid on. Give it a minute. Stays on. Okay, let's check all three. Oops, that one. Stays on. Stays on. I'm a fucking mechanic. I'm a genius. I'm next to no one. Now let's assemble and call it quits. That's good. That's how you do it. You just fucking stick a little copper pipe in, little bit of cable, and that's it. So yeah, that's the video. Pretty simple. Pull it apart, put copper in, make sure you put it back together perfect. Any tips and tricks? Like a little wire brush. When you see like shit on top of that gas thing, just give it a clean because it might like fold back over again or like corrode back over again. Just try and clean the area generally. You can use oven cleaner, let it sit for 15 minutes if it's really bad. Essentially, you should have like a strong flame, it shouldn't be piss weak. Cook on it. This works for pretty much every single appliance you can think of. It doesn't have to be in the back of a camper, it could be in your kitchen. They all work with similar principles. It's a little pin thing through a cast iron, whatever, or a bit of aluminium, or however your is set up. If you have trouble looking for like wires or cable, what I'd recommend, Bunnings, go to Bunnings, get a meter of 1.5 mil cable, which is the size that you need. Make sure it's not like, it's got to be the type of cable that is used for like lighting in houses. Only because if it's too big it won't fit, and then you have all this cable that you won't use. Get like half a meter, it'll cost you $1.50. As far as tools go, I had a pair of pliers, that T6 star bit, for my one anyway, and a Phillips head, which are pretty standard tools, and you can get them in cheap kits. The Trojan kit that I got with all that stuff was, I think it was $8.50 altogether, something like that. It was cheap, ridiculously cheap. I was just like, I'll just grab it. But you need, yeah, pretty much those three things, like a wire brush, 4 things if you count the oven cleaner. Wire brush, oven cleaner, Phillips bit, star bit, and then the rest of it, and the copper, so I guess 5 things. And then you can pretty much clean everything and like have it all done within, I'd say, like an hour and a half. Make sure it's like, do one at a time. I found that doing all 3, you kind of, it's just not as good. Do one at a time, fix it, put it back together. If it's not working, pull it back apart, do one at a time. I think it's way easier. And if you're gonna buy like a second-hand anything, these are things that, like, I was in a rush type thing, I didn't look at it. Still didn't hurt me, I didn't care, like, for the price I got it. Buy it 6 or 7 times, it's fine. And I'd still be good on the money. But yeah, hour and a half, bit of maintenance, it would have saved me a couple $100. I think I got quoted $360 just to come look at it. It was like 200 call out, and then it was an hour labor minimum, and then any parts that I was going to need, which I don't even know what they would have quoted for parts, but really I did that in an hour and a half, just pulling it apart, putting it back together, sticking copper down, Make sure I put it back right. There are a few tips and tricks, but you'll pick up on it, I guess. Where was I going with this? That's the end of the video. Bye.